Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tuesday night. It is time for your favorite show for Alabama content on YouTube and really anywhere. Before I introduce this great panel, go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button. If you're here with us live, get in the live chat. Let us know you love us. If you're watching the replay, get in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Before we get started, one more thing. I want to thank, our whole panel wants to thank the people at the Bryant Museum, Workspace Solutions, and Mel Financial for putting on a tremendous show. It was our first live outing, and we look forward to many more, but we could not have done it without the help of those folks right there. But I'm your host, Justin Riley. With me, as always, the living legend, 1999 All-SEC linebacker. And when Ric Flair said to be the man, woo, you got to beat the man. He is that man, Marvin Constant. And just below him is a two-time national champion, one of the baddest men to ever tote the rock, a USFL champion, the legendary Bo Scarborough, and senior analyst of Touchdown Alabama magazine, Stephen M. Smith. And we'll be joined later by the star of the show, Steve Brown. What's up, fellas?
Not much. What's going on?
I mean, the people really came out last week to the Bryant Museum. That was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was.
Did Steve Brown give back the things he stole? That's the big question.
I don't think he did. I think he put that on eBay.
I saw a few things on Etsy. Todrick, I saw your jersey on his eBay, so you may want to ask him about that as far as residuals. Oh, but hey, we got a guest. Stephen M. Smith, one of our guests, is already here, and he's one of the baddest men to ever do it. His partner will be here just a little bit later, but he's here. Go ahead and tell the folks who we got tonight.
Well, we got one half of the tremendous wide receiver duo in the Gene Stallings era. Now, I know Gene Stallings was about defense, but these two cats, one of them right here, was getting open and catching that ball from Jay Barker. Now, I don't know how Jay Barker would throw the ball half the time, but this brother was catching no matter how Jay Barker was throwing it, whether it be sidearm, front way, back way, down the parking lot. He was getting his hands on the football, helped Alabama win the SEC and national championship in 1992, and even had him a great run there with the New Orleans Saints. We got one half of the dynamic duo of Curtis Brown and Toderick Malone. We got Todrick Malone is in here.
What's going on, brother?
Hey, it's good to be here.
Taught him everything you know.
I heard that.
Is that true, Todrick? Man, you could break some ankles. I hope those defenders had ankle insurance, and one of them is actually a coach right now, and we're going to talk about that guy specifically a little bit later. But wait a minute, we can't do anything without his partner in crime. Stephen, Curtis is here. Give him a good intro as well.
So now we have the second part of the dynamic wide receiver duo from the 1992 SEC championship and national championship for your Crimson Tide. He was catching some big-time passes, touchdown passes from the guy Jay Barker. We got Curtis Silk Smooth Brown.
Downtown Brown is in the building. What's up,
Thanks
Curtis?
for having me, guys. Thanks. Not much, man. Thanks for having me on.
I just got to start with this. Kaylee said he taught y'all everything y'all know.
Well,
Can y'all confirm that?
Kaylee wasn't a bad.
Didn't know y'all if it wasn't for him.
Absolutely, I 100% agree with that.
along with David Palmer. David Palmer was a great teacher.
He taught us. Yeah. You know, a lot of those guys taught us what not to do. So they were good teachers.
Hey, listen, I just want to tell y'all something real quick. If Kaylee, if you watching, man, listen. So you know they have the alumni flag game for the A-Day game. Man, so word on the street, Kaylee won the MVP. They say he running go routes on a dude who played for Bob Bryant, who was like 70 years old. Say Kaylee like prime time was covering him. Say, every time he lined up, he lined up on a 70-year-old.
Kaylee can still go now. He looked like he can still play.
You know, he's a world-class sprinter now.
But why he lined up on that 70-year-old every play, though?
Your guess is as good as mine.
So Todrick, Curtis, what happens if you line up and run the slant route against Marvin? How does that happen? How does that play out?
Well, for me,
do you dust Marvin and break his ankles? I'm leaning towards yes, but go ahead.
No doubt about it.
Yeah,
no doubt about it. Hey, we can meet up on 985 over there now.
See, the way my knees set up, I ain't trying to do that at this age. 20 years ago? 20 years? Nah.
Hey. Marvin to the wide receiver room is like what you normally eat with eggs and bacon, toast.
Oh,
snap! Oh, snap! Oh, snap!
That is a clip right there.
Hey, I'm just saying, yeah.
Hey, CB, tell him we know to crack back on linebackers soon now.
But there's some linebackers you better off just leaving alone. Because when you come to crack
that's
back
what I'm saying. He's a linebacker. He couldn't.
I learned my lesson in the Ohio State game.
Some linebackers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when they see you, it get ugly real quick.
I've been on that side.
Right. Yeah, you think it'll be no easy W now. No.
But you had to deal with Michael Rogers and Lemansky Hall in practice. It can't be any worse than Marvin.
No doubt about it. We had some folks over there going against Langham and all those guys every day.
Langham? Teague say Langham didn't like the tackle.
Had the whitest jersey on the field.
And why y'all let Langham wear number 43? I ain't never seen a DB with. I mean, you had the most unattractive number as a DB in the history of football.
Boy, crazy.
43 come out. They look at him. Oh, you can't cover.
Yeah, he did a little work in that 4-3 though. He did a little work.
That was a horrible number.
What's going on, Todrick?
What's up, CB?
Man, you look like you educated over there, man. You got,
man.
Yes, sir. You look educated over there, man.
I'm getting old, man. I can't see anymore. You know what I mean? So I had to put them glasses.
I said
on.
you looking like you educated over there.
Oh, definitely. I just came from work, so picking up the boy, picking up my son, and getting that workout in and rushing, man.
He got that mirror behind him. His wife must have decorated.
Todrick, Todrick subscribed to my NIL deal.
That's it.
We're having some technical. We're having some technical difficulties.
Well, are you still with us, or is that Boost Mobile kicking out?
That's good.
Hey, who we got sitting in the middle down there?
Two-time national champion and USFL champion and the newly appointed director of everything in USFL, Bo Scarborough. And Curtis is out. I guess he dropped that load off in that truck he's in. So he had to go to a weigh station. Wow, he's getting hooked back in. Stephen M. Smith, I'm going to turn it over to you. Busy weekend for Alabama. Well, at least this draft class. We had a lot of things we felt was on point and some things that were surprises. If you will, man, go ahead and get us started. Tell us your immediate thoughts as to what happened in the draft, and then we'll piggyback off of that.
Well, Bama had 10 guys taken in the draft. They tied with Georgia. Kind of knew that was going to happen. We all knew that Bryce was going to go number 1 to Carolina. You had some people that sort of doubted, but at the end of the day, you kind of knew Bryce would go 1, given Nick Saban his first ever number 1 overall pick in a common draft era. D'Amico Ryans, very aggressive, taking C.J. Stroud with his first pick and then trading back to get Will Anderson at number 3. Mm-hmm. So you got your offensive and defensive pillars. I liked what D'Amico Ryans did. Jahmyr Gibbs shocked a lot of people. Not a lot of people had Gibbs going 12 to the Lions, but if you know anything about Dan Campbell, he loves explosive players. He did the same thing last year, taking Jamison Williams at 12. So it wasn't really a shock that they took Jahmyr Gibbs. I just did not think that he would go that high at 12. I thought Brian Branch would get in the first round. He slipped the second round, 45 overall to the Lions. I think of everybody that got picked up in this draft, to me, to see Cameron Latu go to the San Francisco 49ers in that third round, he goes back West Coast, and you got him and George Kittle and that Kyle Shanahan offense. Very special to see that. And even Henry Toto got picked up as he went to the Houston Texans in the 5th round. But, I mean, you had 10 guys drafted overall.
That's what's up. Well, I want to kind of lead off on Jahmyr Gibbs. I had him in my top 10, so it really came as no surprise. But they are definitely showing that he is going to be their lead guy. DeAndre Swift, that is out of town. He's headed to Philly. Bo, I know being a former Detroit guy, your heart swelled with pride seeing him go there. How do you feel about that, man? What were your immediate thoughts when you heard his name come off the board?
I'm like, I didn't think that it would be that high, but, I had a sense that he would be in the first round, but I just didn't have a sense that it would be that high. And, I think that I don't know the situation, that Detroit had. I thought they had a good deal with, Swift being the head honcho over there, and him and Jahmyr Gibbs being the kind of same back. When they drafted Jahmyr, I knew that they were going to, make another move and, probably trade him or so.
That's what's up. All right, I'm going to pass it around the room. Todrick, we talked a little bit before we got on here live, but what were your immediate thoughts about the Bama guys from this class getting drafted? And was there really anything that stood out to you as far as who went where and I guess at what position in the draft?
Well, I was surprised like you guys love Gibbs going 12. I was thinking he was going to go probably maybe 20-something, 25th, 26th, somewhere in there. I was very surprised. Like I said, we knew the number one pick was going to be. I felt like I thought maybe Ricks was going to get drafted. That would kind of a shocker to me. I thought maybe he would go somewhere between 3rd and 4th round, but seeing him, going undrafted, that was a big shocker to me. I felt like he had some tools and some skills. Not sure who his agent is or whatever, but whatever his grade was is going to be, 4th, 5th round. I thought maybe he should have stayed in school and played that extra year. But we had 12 guys get drafted, so 10 guys to get drafted, so that was great.
I think Todd, the thing with Ricks just didn't have enough tape. He did not have enough tape. I know he played the freshman year. He played the freshman year at LSU. His sophomore year at LSU, he got hurt, so he didn't really do all that much. And in his junior year at Alabama, he finally started against Mississippi State, and he shows the potential there. But I know the draft takes off potential most times to production, but I guess in Gibbs' case, Saban probably told him, you may need to come back. Your tape is not where it needs to be at.
Right.
And, of course, like you mentioned, Todd, you got the age that say, don't listen to Saban. You're going to go 1st round, 2nd round, 3rd round.
Hey, man, listen, man. These agents always going to feed these kids nonsense. Every year, there's always that one kid that thinks he's going to be a high draft pick, and then he goes undrafted, and he screws his entire future. Because the difference between you making a team as a draft pick versus a free agent, those are two completely different sets of odds. So I don't understand why these kids let these people get in their ear and convince them to come out early. Because I'm sure Todrick and Curtis have guys who went through the same thing. I can name you several guys that I played with that did it. It happens every year. Some of these kids just need to be real with themselves. Take a step back and realize that they are destroying their futures by coming out early because they truly don't have the body of work necessary to be a high draft pick.
Curtis, you want to weigh in on that? I'm sure, like Marvin said, you had a couple of guys that you came across in your time. They probably could have benefited for an extra year. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's so tricky, man, because the NFL draft annually, out every year since I can remember, it's always surprises in the NFL draft. It's just like Marvin said, there's always going to be guys who think they're going to get drafted high and end up not getting drafted at all. You know what I mean? So it's always surprises. But if you don't have a full body of work, you generally shouldn't come out. Now, I don't know what his situation is in terms of his family and stuff like that. I mean, that could have had something to do with his decision making. I'm not sure. But most of the time, if guys don't have a full body of work, they should take advantage of their extra year that they have left in school.
But the thing about this generation, they have an added advantage. They can make money through NIL. So even if the family situation isn't right, you don't have to be in a hurry to leave because you can still profit through NIL while you're getting yourself together. Like when we were in school, when I was in school, you had a guy like Mike Vaughn. Mike Vaughn was a great receiver. Let the agent fill his head up, talk him into coming out early. Mike Vaughn goes undrafted.
Yep.
Nobody's heard from Mike Vaughn since then. There has been several over the years, man. And so again, with NIL, they have all the tools they need to really build their film and their stock before they leave.
Well,
Hey, Marv.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Hey, Marvin, I agree 100%. I was watching something on the girl from LSU, the basketball player. You know, they was asking her, like, hey, why didn't you come out? You know, she was like, why am I come out for? She's like, I make more money in college. She's like, I'm a millionaire now. I make so much money in college. Why would I want to go to the WNBA when I'm sitting here, me and my homegirl, we making all this money right now? So you're right. 100% right.
Yeah, but the thing with the NIL, you have to be a marquee player. Everybody's not making money in NIL deals.
Well, if you're supposed to be a first round pick, you're gonna make
Exactly.
And somebody of Rick's caliber whose ceiling is through the roof, I mean, he's going to bring in a lot of NIL money. What was that, Curtis?
Hey, I was saying on a side note, what's up, Bo Scott, bro? What's up, man?
What's up, man?
What's up, man? I'm like, I never met you, bro, but I admired your game. You know what I'm saying? Sorry to get off subject, guys, but I admired this young man's game. You was a beast out there running that rock, man. And I hope you can get back in the uniform, bro. Absolutely.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
I got a question for you. You and Marvin, you coming through the hole. What's gonna happen?
Man, Marvin already know what's gonna happen.
That's what I'm talking about.
I knock his socks out.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
Put him on his ass.
And then you'll wake up from that nightmare and realize what really happened. Man, please.
Don't get nothing started, T. Malone.
You gonna wake up.
I'll give it to you like this. Jamal Lewis tried it. And Travis Henry. And Deuce McAllister. And
all them people you name
Travis
is not
Stevens.
me.
And
All them people you naming is not me.
a long list of first rounders
I am-
tried
I
it.
am
And they
not-
all got folded up like cheap church tails.
I
baby.
am not like the other one.
He
I only
built
come
different.
around once in a lifetime.
There you go.
And that once in that lifetime, you're going to wake up and realize you barked up the wrong tree. You think you can run me over. Man, please. You better ask Sean Alexander. Duo season to be in practice. Go for Sean. You better get his ass out of here because I ain't getting off nobody's ass.
You supposed to defend yourself.
Hey,
Defend myself. I am an attacker. What you talking about defend? You need to defend yourself from me.
Todrick, this conversation was bound to happen. It happens every week, so you started it a little bit earlier than it normally takes place, but the fans love it, so we appreciate that. Go ahead, Steven.
Jovi Hendrickson writes in, Richard Young rocking at number 9. Richard Young will actually be on campus, the other 5-star running back, joining Justice Haynes. He will be here May 28th.
Man, how good is Justin Haynes, man?
My gosh,
Special.
he's 35 years old right now.
I mean, Bo Scarborough trained him. Bo trained him.
He did.
Real deal.
He trained himself.
He's a real deal. I watch him play live. But I tell you, he can go.
He must have ran y'all over a few times. He must have put a hurting on y'all. You was on the wrong end of that deal. I can tell by your face.
Now, Tat Lawson kind of brings up a point I want to transition to get Marvin's thoughts on. I believe Marvin could have coached Huggin Henry into being a first rounder. That being said, Huggin Henry or Henry Toa is now a Texan. He's going to be with D'Amico, a man that can get him right. Marvin, I know the chat we had on Saturday, probably it doesn't reflect your true feelings about Huggin Henry. But, man, what do you feel about the marriage between him and D'Amico? And then he's also joining Christian Harris and Will Anderson, too.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. One of my high school coaches was one of my favorite people in the world. You know what he always used to say? You can't coach physicality. That's the one thing you can't coach. You can coach technique. You can coach how to read plays, but you cannot coach physicality. Either you're physical or you aren't. So again, for his sake, I hope they're moving the outside linebacker somewhere away from where he has to take on those guards and those tackles, because taking on all pro and first team all pro guards and tackles, homeboy, that's a different world now. Hey, listen, you think college was hard playing middle linebacker? You run up in there on some of them dudes, all right? Hey, that's gonna be a rude awakening, homeboy. So I pray that I pray that they use him in some type of nickel or dime package, put him on the outside in pass situations or something. But if he has to stop the run, I think that will not go well for him in his career moving forward. So hopefully they'll use him third down situations again in a nickel dime package, something along those lines.
Yeah, gotcha. Now, who surprised me the most was Emil Ekiyor. He's a guy that was trending upward as the season finished, and he went to Senior Bowl practice, and we got closer to the draft, only to see him go undrafted, completely taken aback by that. This is a guy that I feel like is going to be a steal once he gets in pads and on the field, and is going to be a day one starter eventually. Guys, any thoughts on that, or do you have another guy that may have stood out to you?
Tell him to play the tape from practice when he was going against Toa. That'll get his stock up.
hey, look, so, I mean, Ekiyor goes back home to Indianapolis, grew up a Colts fan, so he goes back to the hometown team. I'm pretty sure an organization is going to have him somewhere on that offensive line, either first backup or whatever the case may be. But in my opinion, DeMarco Hellams in the 7th round, that's what shocked me. I mean, because Marco thought, a lot of people thought that DeMarco was going to go 4th or 5th round. In the 7th round, pick 224, here come the Dirty Bird Falcons taking DeMarco Hellams. And Louis Riddick of ESPN is saying that he's looking at DeMarco Hellams by year 3 could be a very good impact player. I kind of want to see, what does Hellams become in Atlanta?
The one thing I want to interject one thing real quick. So for some of these guys who are late round picks, 7th round, 6th round, or free agents, for some of them, it's probably better that they go as undrafted free agents because they have a little bit more control over the situation they choose to put themselves in. Whereas other kids drafted in the 6th, 7th round, they got to fight it out. They don't have as much say in their future. So for some of them, it's probably better that they, were signed as undrafted free agents.
So who is the best
exactly
fit?
Right.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Curtis.
No, I was saying that's exactly right. I actually went as an undrafted free agent as well, but I had a cousin just Saturday signing undrafted free agent deal with Cincinnati. And that's exactly what I told him. Like, once you get there, obviously you didn't get drafted, so you're gonna definitely have to make the team via special teams. You know what I mean? And you're gonna have to bust your butt when you get out there. So as long as you can make 2, 3, 4 plays a game per special teams, you should have a good chance of making the football team.
And the only difference between an undrafted free agent and those 6, 7 round draft picks is the little bit of money they get for a signing bonus. There ain't much difference in their status on the team. Unless you're rounds 1, 2, and 3, maybe 4, nothing is really guaranteed.
No, absolutely.
You're exactly right.
All right, real quick.
And I wouldn't say 4th round is guaranteed. I mean, rounds 1 and 2, that's guaranteed. 3rd round, they're starting to get you for a bargain. So unless you're in rounds 1 and 2, there's not necessarily nothing guaranteed.
All right.
Before we transition to our next topic, real quick, who do you feel like had the best fit of all the guys drafted?
Bryce Young. Bryce Young.
Not who made the most money, but
yeah, I mean he's in a ready-made team already
with a solid defense.
They actually had a good football team last year. They just didn't have a quarterback.
Okay, that's fair.
Except they lost to Seattle and cost me a lot of money that day. I was pissed.
All comes back to money.
I'll say this. I'm gonna throw a wild card out there. I'm gonna go Brian Branch. The Detroit Lions are a good football team. I mean, what Dan Campbell is doing, they are a good football team. You get a versatile defensive back there in Brian Branch that can light you up as well as cover. I thought that was a good fit for him.
I actually won a lot of money off the Lions last year. They won 5-6 games in a row, and against the spread, against the ATS. Oh man, you were solid picking the Lions last year.
Marvin, really?
Yes.
We talk about this every week. I'm beginning to think this is a cry for help in terms of you and your gambling problem.
No, Marvin. See, we're the Bama Standard, sponsored by Vegas Bets.
Okay. We got.
I'm just saying, against the spread last year, the Lions were one of my favorite picks because they won against the spread almost every week last year, man. And they upset some teams along the way.
They took the Packers out of the playoffs.
Yeah, they sure did.
They did.
Yeah. In the second half of the season, they actually turned it up. You're right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Probably the biggest surprise in the weekend is something actually Stephen M. Smith got wrong last week. We felt that Tyler Buchner from Notre Dame was not coming to Alabama. You know, we said on a live show that he'd get a little tour of the facility, get a balloon, and get sent back to wherever he was going to go. But yet he does end up in Alabama. I think to a lot of fans, this was not expected. Of course, we knew when Sam Hartman came over there from Wake Forest that the writing was on the wall. He's going to push Buchner out. But I felt like there were better fits in the SEC for him, like Florida and Auburn. The quarterback situation was much better, and he probably could contend for a spot right away. But I'm looking at our roster. I'm looking at Jalen Milroe. I'm looking at Ty Simpson, 2 4-star guys who were handpicked and who've been in the program for multiple years. And we pull a move like this. I know Coach Saban said that we're trying to drive competition. That's bull. I'm sorry. Milroe and Simpson, they already know that they've got this starting spot on the line. If they can't get motivated for that, they shouldn't be strapping it up every week.
So what if Buchner shows up and he's passing the ball unbelievably and he drives and he turns that
I would be shocked
into one of the most perennial offenses in the SEC? Because I'll be honest with you, Justin, the weapons in Notre Dame versus the weapons in Alabama, man, that's like apples and oranges. That's like a V-charged, a supercharged engine versus a pacer, man. It's two different worlds.
I get that. And I actually went and watched this film. He's got deceptively fast legs. I give him that. But can you arguably say he's faster than Jalen Milroe or faster than
You're
Ty
a white
Simpson?
guy, man. You need to stop saying deceptively fast. You know, that's
Irish. I'm a different demographic, sir.
Just say the man is fast.
This is what I'm saying. First off, Saban did not get my voicemail. I'm going to have to get with him on that. That's part one. Part two right here, I go back to Justin's point here. And this is what I was saying. If you're going to get somebody out of the portal, you get somebody that's show enough elite if you're going to go that route in the portal. If there's nobody in the portal at that position that's show enough elite, then you don't touch the portal. Because when you have guys already there and already in your program that know what they're supposed to be doing, and you bring somebody else in, that's like, bruh, I've been toiling. I've been in this thing. Like, you going to bring somebody else in here? And I've been toiling?
But there's another side of this you're missing, though. Okay. So, you know, if he truly does have a desire to go into coaching, maybe he wants to be at Alabama for that. And you hadn't look at the other side of the coin. He's gonna make one hell of a scout team quarterback to get our defense ready. Come on, man. You gotta look at the whole picture sometimes.
Okay, I can see that. I could see scout team quarterback. Okay, that's fine. I can see future GA, future coach on the roster. And
most scout team quarterback and backups go on to be GAs and coaches. That is the normal progression. It was Lance Taylor did it when Lance Tucker did it when I was in school, and I've seen it happen with several other quarterbacks. That's what they do at times.
But do you honestly see a guy with 2 years of eligibility remaining coming to be a glorified clipboard holder?
3 years, Justin. 3.
3 years. I honestly don't see that. And, you know, as far as him leading a prolific offense, Marvin, I also looked at his arm. His arm is just okay. Matter of fact, when I watch him throw, majority of the time he's throwing off his back foot. And he tends to gamble a little bit too much for my liking. And people are already complaining right now about Milroe not having ball security or not being able to throw it past 10 yards. If you have problems right now with what you feel like where Milroe is in his progression, you're going to have a real bad problem when you see this kid. He may
just
progress.
Let him battle it out come August, baby.
But our guests are here. Listen, you guys are no stranger to quarterback battles. I mean, you had it with Bergdorf and you had it with Freddie Kitchens. Guys, I want to hear your take.
Ready?
Curtis, go ahead and start us off, man.
Well, my mindset is nobody has the job until the week before the game. I mean, everybody has to compete. You know what I mean? No job is going to be given to anybody. And last time I checked, neither one of those guys were our starting quarterback last year. Maybe for a game or two, but neither one of them had the job. So they all have to compete. And Coach Saban is right. Maybe those two guys, prior to him bringing this other kid in, maybe they did think that they were starters. You know what I mean? But you haven't won the job yet. You still have to compete.
Todrick, what's your thoughts? I mean, like I said, you had the battle between Bergdorf and Kitchens. What was that like? And then, two, how did they win you guys over? The locker room. This is the big factor nobody's talking about, is you got a kid right off the street having to compete for winning the locker room over, where Jalen and Ty already have. But go ahead, Todrick.
Well, Bergdorf and Kitchens, I'm kind of biased because, Freddie and I played high school ball together. So, it's a little bit different.
He gonna go with Freddie now.
Hold on, Todrick. So you were with Freddie in high school, and you didn't tell him he didn't have to throw a 5-yard slat 100 miles an hour in high school. You let him go into college still doing that?
Well, I did because I had a couple broken fingers. Right. I'm sitting out with a broken finger, like, dude, come on.
Hold on,
have some touch. He couldn't dance, so you know what I mean. That's
Todrick. Why Freddie had to throw it so hard, though?
Yeah,
one speed.
Who was he mad at? Who was he mad at?
Oh, he had some demons going around in his head.
No, for real. He was the real version of Jasmine Sullivan busting windows out things. Like, that ball was coming out like, man.
Well, with the quarterback situation now, in my opinion, if you're going to bring somebody into Alabama, out of the porter, like you guys, you got to bring the real deal to Alabama. You know what I mean? You got to have somebody that you think is going to be that real deal to get the ball to those guys on the outside. Unless, you're going to do like Gene Stallings, you're going to pound the football every play, and play action pass and get those guys the ball. But, these days it's all about throwing the ball. Gene Stallings going to pound it. He's going to pound it. With Sherman and all those guys, and
Dennis.
Yes, Dennis. He's going to pound it with those guys, and with me and Curtis, if we played in the offense these days, we'll be 1,000 yards every year.
My God,
60 catches every year. And Curtis and I, we played the game like we don't care who the quarterback is. Just get the ball close to us. We're going to make a play, Get us the ball close to us. I don't care if you're throwing off your back foot, your sidearm, whatever. If we're in the vicinity, we're going to catch the ball and make a play.
And Lushawn's saying, but he does have a point. He ain't going to have to do anything special because we have 5 running backs, 8 bully offensive linemen, and a vicious defense. And that's the thing. We're not going to have a 4,500-yard passer this year. We're going back to the ground and pound bully ball, and we don't have to have all that, but still, I just kind of question the move. Bo, if you see this happen while you're there, a guy comes out of the portal, what kind of message is it sending to you as far as winning the locker room, winning you over? Because you already had guys that are there that have done that and you trust.
I mean, like Coach Saban said, maybe it is the competition or whatever to get these guys to compete. I mean, you got to win the locker room over. I mean, if I was in, what could I do in that situation? It's not like you can't up and leave, but why would you do that around this time? It wouldn't be a great time to do that. So, I mean, the boys, like Curtis said, they just got to battle it out. No one have a job yet. I mean, if we get a new quarterback, great. Let's see what he can do. Put him in the crowd 5 in the frying pan. Let's see what he can do.
Don't forget about what Joe Burrow did for LSU.
Yeah.
He won the locker room over.
Now, Curtis is a good point there, because remember, 2018, LSU was ready to roast off Joe Burrow. And then 2019, that next year, Burrow became a superstar. So good point there from Curtis.
And it takes more than just winning the locker room. I mean, that's like being a politician. Yeah, you have to do that part, but your play on the field has to be, greater than you winning the locker room. Because if your play on the field isn't far superior to your locker room acclamation talents, it ain't gonna matter anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then, as a quarterback, if you're not motivated to play at the University of Alabama, something wrong with you. You need to get up out of here. You need to go somewhere else where you're not, motivated. I mean, you at the University of Alabama. I mean, it ain't like you at UAB or the other school over there with the War Eagle or whatever that crap is. You at the University of Alabama. You a Bama Sci-Fi.
I wouldn't have said that part.
I would say War Chicken.
War Chicken. I agree with that.
War Buzzard, something like that.
I will never utter those words.
Stephen, we got a question here from the audience from Just Kitting It. What is your opinion on the UAB and ULM kids that are in the portal? They're discussing maybe coming to Alabama. One is a DB, which I feel like we're pretty set DBs. There. Okay, we're pretty set there, so I wouldn't see a move needing to happen. Go ahead.
They're both DBs. Arden Key is the one from UAB, and then the other guy, last name Amos, is from ULM. So Saban is looking at both of these two. The reason why both of these two are being looked at by Alabama is because Jacquez Robinson and Traquan Fagans both hopped in the transfer portal prior to the spring game. So both of those two guys played both corner and star in the secondary, which is the reason why Saban had to take Earl Little and play him on the second team defense in the 8A game, and took Malachi Moore and put him back there put him at star for the first team defense, tried to make it fair and shake it up there. So that's why he's looking in the portal for one of these two defensive backs. Me personally, after watching what Des Ricks did in A-Day, Antonio Kite and Jake Pope did, I would just keep it right there. But at the same time, those are the two guys he is looking at, Key from UAB and the Amos kid from ULM.
Why does the name Arden Key sound so familiar to me?
Because Arden Key played at LSU. There's an Arden Key that played at LSU too.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
Defensive lineman. So this could probably be his brother, cousin. I don't know.
Could be.
But we do need depth at the secondary position, though. We do need depth.
I mean, right. I mean, that's true because, like I mentioned, I was shocked when Jacquez Robinson hit the portal because he had finally gotten his weight up. It had finally looked like he was going to get some playing time, but now he's committed to Colorado and Coach Prime. And then Traquan Fagans has hit the portal. So you definitely need depth at defensive back. This is true.
I'm all for the portal, but I just think a lot of these young kids, man, they're not willing to pay their dues. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as something happens, they're ready to get into the portal. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think they're maximizing their potentials because at the end of the day, if you're afraid to compete at the University of Alabama, what makes you think you're going to go somewhere else and not have to compete? It's weird to me.
And here's the big thing, Curtis. A lot of guys that get in the portal, they don't make it to a new team. They're still stuck in the portal.
That's right.
So
good point.
A lot of those guys that hit in the portal, over thousands of kids, young men hit that portal. Not every one of them find a home. Some of them are still stuck in there because these coaches, they're only going to get the cream of the crop out of that portal anyway.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, before we kind of transition into what y'all did, I do want to get your thoughts on this wide receiver group. Now, I know as soon as y'all touched down at Tuscaloosa, you didn't have to wait your turn. Y'all were on the field almost immediately. Do you feel like this young group are going to be the ones that emerge and carry the team offensively? I'll start with you, Todrick.
I do. I think they'll be really, really good. You got some speed out there for one, with the kid from Buford.
Isaiah Bond.
Yeah, Isaiah Bond. Really fast kid, speedster can go. And that group, I think it's going to be real, real solid. They're going to make some plays. And, missing a couple kids, that transferred out in portal. But, this running game is going to really help us a lot. It's going to open those guys up because they're going to have to stop our run game. Those guys, Justin Haynes and those guys running the ball. I mean, those guys going to make big plays off the play action pass. And with that speed with Isaiah Bond, he gonna top off the, defensive backs, with the speed he has.
Yeah, I look forward to those guys making plays too. I just hope that they practice catching drills. I'm tired of seeing our receivers dropping balls in big games.
Thank you, Curtis. Thank you.
Jug machine going.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
Hey, you remember Woody used to make us out to practice every day. We get on that jug machine.
Every
we have
day.
to catch about 60 to 70 balls before we go in.
Yep. Absolutely. And that's what these guys need to do, man. It seems like they drop balls and they don't even care about it. We drop balls. We used to do push-ups right on the sideline, man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Wasn't many though, right?
No, not at all.
I don't think I ever saw either of you drop a ball in a game.
Yeah. We may have had one or two drops, but the way these guys drop balls, man, it's crazy.
I was looking at the national championship game, going back and watch that, and when our guy got hurt, Jameson got hurt, and you got guys behind him complaining about not playing, and then you had a chance to shine, on a big stage, and you drop freaking balls. You dropped at least 2 touchdown passes. Yes.
Say the way you want to say. You a coach. Say he pissed down his leg.
He pissed down his freaking leg. He pissed down his freaking leg. He had a chance to make the dang plays. I know at least he dropped 5 balls that game, man. I was so disappointed and pissed off. You want time, you want to play, and the ball going right through your hands.
That's why you got to be careful on what you wish for. You want to get in the game when the big lights on. You need to go ahead and make those plays. Period.
Everybody ain't built for it though. Man.
Right.
I mean, Todrick, man, I still go back to that game and I'm like, if Hall would have caught that pass, touchdown. If Jaleel Billingsley would have caught that ball, touchdown. If so-and-so would have caught that ball.
And plus, Marvin and I and Curtis, we live here in Atlanta, and it's like you got these Bulldogs all in our dang ear, this and that. Okay, look at the situation. This kid didn't get hurt, we win the dang game.
Exactly.
These kids catch the ball, we win the dang game. So don't come at me with that. Y'all got 2 in a row. Look at it. We got more than that. Look on my back. Look at my room. Go check my room out and see what we got.
Every time I go get a haircut, I gotta look at those stupid banners, man. Please, I'm so tired of
that. We're gonna talk about the Bulldogs in just a second, but one of the things y'all mentioned, talking about JMO, every year we're looking for that next guy. Who's gonna be the next JMO? And watching all your games, guys, Mike Gottfried, Mark's brother, every game, what kept on reiterating the fact Alabama has to find their next David Palmer. They have to find the next Deuce. I think they really missed out on what you guys did as a collective unit. So what was that part like, and trying to make the crowd forget about the David Palmer and introducing yourselves to them as the next Curtis Brown and Toderick Malone?
Well, for me, learning under David Palmer, he was one of the greatest teachers ever, when it comes to route running and doing different stuff on the field. And Curtis can testify to that. I mean, he really taught me when I came in, and I'm sure, Curtis learned a little stuff from him. But, our situation was like a little bit different from these guys these days. Like, we worked real good together. We competed against each other. Every day we competed against each other. Like, we want the ball, we fight, we cuss, we talk junk. Like, I want the ball, and we competed so hard every day in practice, and we going against all Americans on the other side, and it didn't do anything but make us better.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was no competition, really. You know what I mean? Like, David and I came in the same year, so we bounced a lot of things off of each other, and we fed off of each other. You know what I mean? So we were 2 different type of receivers. So like Todrick said, we just every day in practice, whatever line I'm in, whatever line David's in, we yelling across the field, no drops today. Let's see who can go through practice all day with no drops. You know what I mean?
Because I would not.
Oh man, you come on, Marvin. You ain't want none of that smoke, man. Come on. Yeah, but no, we had a great time out there, man, and that's what I'm looking for these young receivers right here that we have now. I want them to compete amongst each other, and you will know if they're doing that from the play in their game when we see them on Saturdays.
Yeah, absolutely right. Now, we talked about Georgia, so I got to bring up one particular game 1994, Alabama versus Georgia. Jay Barker versus Eric Zaire. Man, y'all went off. The offense carried the defense.
Hey, man,
there wasn't
don't bring up that one name because I know you. Don't bring up that one name, though.
And
he is irrelevant in this conversation.
No,
he got abused.
He is very relevant. Todrick, I think you sent this man into coaching because I think you broke him as a football player. I specifically remember a guy playing safety for the University of Georgia in that game named Will Muschamp, and you made him look like a fool. Y'all, please talk about that game. Both you guys, y'all went off, and was one of the greatest games in Bama history. Comeback win. Todrick, I'll let you start because you definitely made the Georgia fans remember who you were.
Well, that guy did get death threats after the game, is what he told me. Every time he sees me, he comes by the school. He's like, "Hey, this is the guy I got death threats about." But but yeah, it was one of the exciting games. It was one of the best games of my career at Alabama. I never forget. One of my homeboys, he told me, he's like, "Hey man, if you have over 100 yards and a touchdown, I'm gonna throw you the biggest party out the game you ever seen." And I'm like, "What? Say less." So I get in the game, and it was a night game. I think it was one of the first times we had a night game in T-Town versus Georgia. Oh man, went off, had a great game, and competed well. They were loaded over there on defense. They were loaded. From defensive linemen to linebackers to secondary, they were loaded all the way across. And they had explosive receivers. They had explosive running backs. You know, we went back and forth. And, you know, Curtis and I put on a show. I'll be honest with you. We put on a show. That was one of the games to remember. And I'm sure the old Alabama guys, really fans, really, you know, sit back and watch that game. The party was great. I just want to say it was one of the best parties I ever had in my life.
The statute of limitations have expired. So
go ahead.
It was one of the best parties ever. The whole team was there. We cooked out. I'm talking about everybody from Tuscaloosa was there. Man, it was a great time. And like I said, Curtis and I put on a show.
I actually played with Eric Zaire in Baltimore.
You did? That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But no, what's your perspective?
I mean, like Todrick said, you know, Saturday night game, primetime game. You're playing against the University of Georgia. We're in Tuscaloosa. Todrick put the show on. Todrick scored like 2 times, didn't you, T?
Yeah.
And yeah. So, you know, we were never afraid of anybody, man. You know what I mean? You come into our house, you want to play us, we're gonna give you something to look forward to. You know what I mean? And that's the way we looked at it.
Bama sci-fi to the day I die.
Absolutely.
Curtis, I got to bring up one of your best games later on that year, Mississippi State, another comeback win. Yeah. You, sir, went off. And it seems like the offense was always having to bail out the defense, which is really unheard of in the Gene Stallings era.
But man, rating that defense.
That was quite a game. 8 receptions for 193 yards and a touchdown. We win 29-25 with just minutes to go, and defense was having a hard time with Michael Davis and Kevin Bowie. But you guys, again, wide receiver, you shone through. If y'all can kind of talk about that game too.
I think a lot of people underestimated our receiving room, our wide receiver room. I mean, we had talented receivers, man. Myself, Todrick, Chad Key. I think we had
Marcel
Calvin
West.
Hall at the time, Marcel West. I mean, we had talented receivers. So, I mean, we wasn't afraid of, like I said, we wasn't afraid of anybody, man. We went over there that night. If I'm not mistaken, we came back. We were down in that game, and we came back. Yeah, we came back And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they were talking about what's the DB name?
Harris.
Walt Harris.
Walt Harris.
And I'm hearing all these things about Walt Harris. And game time come, I eat him alive. It was
Lit
crazy,
him up.
man.
Lit him up.
Yeah.
I got one
without a doubt.
question. How old is Calvin Hall? Because he was there my freshman year. I played with Hall. Hold on now.
Yeah.
Is he on the Stetson Bennett plan?
Calvin.
Y'all had a
Hall was
COVID
there.
year back in the 90s in general.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man,
Michael
he was
Bud too. He was there.
there. Yeah.
I
Hey,
played with both of those guys. Hold on.
hey, got that AARP check.
They had a COVID year in the early 90s. They didn't tell nobody, man.
Shoot, I wish.
If we had, and listen, man, if we had the quarterbacks and we had the air attack that Alabama has right now, man, ain't no telling where we would be right now. It would be crazy.
We'd have broke a lot of records, I'll tell you that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Y'all played when it was 3 yards in a cloud of dust. You know, when we came along, it was, you know, you started to see the transition, but it was a few years after y'all left. That's when Dubose was the head coach, and he brought in Charlie Stubbs, and that's when we had Zal. And Charlie Stubbs actually began to kind of transition Alabama away from that 3 yards in a cloud of dust football, and actually started to run a lot more 4 and 5 wides. So he did do that. You know, that was what, 98, 99. That's when you begin to see that transition open up, because before that, you know, it was all 3 in a cloud of dust, and we're going to let the defense do the rest.
No doubt.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Love Dubose. Love him. Love him. That was my guy. That was my guy.
Real quick, shout out to Jamie Wilhelm for the $9.99 super chat. Love the show and roll tide.
Roll Tide.
Took that, Jamie.
All right, we're getting close to the end of the show, man. How time flies. Oh, real quick, Leonardo da Vinci 199 roll tide, fellas. Thank you, sir. Greatly appreciate you. Before we roll into the closing segment, everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, show us you love us. That's what's most important. We need you to build this channel up. All right, Todrick Curtis, if you would, tell me your favorite moment from Alabama, our best game, whatever comes first. Curtis, I'll start with you.
Favorite moment, I think, was winning the national championship in 93, 92 season, 93. And then I think the best game, favorite game, was probably the inaugural SEC championship game against Florida.
Okay. You had that touchdown pass.
Yeah. But
Back
it
of
was
the
the
end zone.
inaugural but it was the inaugural SEC championship game. You know what I mean?
So Curtis, I gotta ask you this: when y'all won, did Roy Kramer come in there and hug you? Because y'all saved that man.
You did.
I didn't even see Roy Kramer after the game, man.
Yeah, he had everything riding on the line with that game. So yeah, y'all saved him. Dodger, what about you, man?
For me, my best moment, honestly, I was a Roll Tide fan all my life. You know, grew up, one of my favorite players, was at Alabama, and I can't call his name because, I'll be biased and, whatever. Just stepping on the field my first year, just stepping on that field and just looking at the crowd and looking at, all the fans. And that was my greatest moments, just being there, I was so overwhelmed. I was so happy. I got two stories. One with Gene Stallings. I scored my first touchdown, right? It was at Legion Field going against Louisiana Tech. I caught a dig route across the middle, ran it in for a touchdown. So as I was running in the end zone, I went to the back. My momentum went to the back, and a couple of fans grabbed me. It was at Legion Field. He grabbed me, and I just threw the ball up like, yes. So I ended up getting a penalty. So I come back to the sideline. Oh, Coach Stallings, he ripped me one, boy. Oh, my God. Freshman year, I'm talking about he ripped me. So, so the next game, I'm about to get on the elevator to go downstairs for breakfast. So I punched the elevator, and it was him. I was like, dang. So I try to go, hey, man, come in here. So I come in. He said, hey, man, I called the NCAA, man. Hey, you did nothing wrong. Hey, I apologize. He apologized.
That sounds like Coach Stallings.
Man, my heart was like pumping because everybody was scared of Coach Stallings. He's one of those hard-nosed, get after your butt type of coach. So I was really, really scared. But my best moment as a player, best game was 94-95 Auburn at Auburn. Had over 100-something yards receiving, 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing, 1 catch. I think I put on the show and let everybody know, Alabama's for real. We ended up losing the game, that game. So I kind of got pissed off because Curtis got 4 passes in a row. I never got a pass. We got 4 downs to get in the end zone. I never touched the ball. They threw it to him 4 times. So the 3rd time they threw it to him, so I go to the sideline. I said, hey, Coach Stallings, man, I ain't touched the ball. He's like, hey, Freddie, throw the ball to Todrick. We get over there. I'm like, Freddie, I'm going right here. Throw the ball up. Guess who he threw the ball to? Curtis Brown. Even though he was in, they say he was out. But, I should have got an opportunity.
You were in, dude. You were in.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Without a doubt.
I'm still pissed about that to this day.
We didn't have instant replay, man. Man,
Todrick, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
Man, I'm talking about 4 downs. I never touched the ball. I could have slapped Freddie, man. I was so mad. I'm like, man, we play high school ball together. What the hell are you doing?
Look, man. On my 18th birthday, you gave me 2 broke hands. Come on.
He's been holding on to that all these years, Curtis.
I see that. It's all love.
Oh, yeah.
It's all love.
Hey, Todrick, was Coach Stallings that forgiving when Terrence Lynch missed the team plane in '94 for the Tennessee game?
No, sir. No, sir. Hey, he got after him, too. He got after him. And Coach Stallings got on me one time, right? So my other guy that I played with in high school, Ed Sissom. So Martin, you know who that is.
Yes.
So Stallings had this dress code, and Ed would wear earrings during breakfast. So Stallings come to me, he's like, hey, if Ed wear those earrings one more time, I'm sending him home. I'm sending you home. I'm like, what the hell? I said, Coach. I said, I'll take care. I said, Ed, you put them damn earrings in your ear one more time. I'm going to put these hands on you. So funny, man. I had to tell that story.
Yeah.
Before we close out, Curtis, can you do a Gene Stallings impersonation too?
Whoa. Oh, man.
Because I've heard Langham's and I've heard Todrick's, and they're spot on.
Man, don't you put me on the spot right now, man. And what's so crazy is everybody on the team used to try to impersonate him every week, man. It was crazy. But I think I remember one where what's 99's name? Todrick, that used to play with us from Mobile, Alabama.
Curly?
No. Victor Lockett.
Oh.
He used to always be cracking jokes in the team meeting, trying to impersonate Coach Stallings. So one particular game, I want to say it was the Tennessee game, where he missed a big assignment on special teams, and Coach Stallings roasted him the next week. He was like, hey, who's 99? Hey, make a play, man. That's about the only thing I got, man. Coach Stallings, I mean, you can't. It was so many moments, man. It was just a great time to play football at Alabama under him, man. Absolutely.
No
Hey,
doubt,
one
no
last
doubt.
thing with Stallings. So we in practice, right? One of our offensive linemen got hurt, and so he runs over there. We all over there checking on the guy, and he's like, "Hey, man, did you have your knee braces on?" He's like, "No." He said, "I feel no sympathy for you," and walked like his man towards ACL. He told his ACL, "Hey, man, I feel no sympathy for you," and walks off.
So what you're saying is y'all can make it under Coach Saban.
Definitely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I miss Coach Saban. I mean, I missed him Because when I went to Baltimore, he had just left Cleveland. He was coaching there prior to me getting to Baltimore, which was the first year they left Cleveland to Baltimore.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Langham got a full earful from him one time.
Yeah, he did.
when he was in Cleveland.
Yeah.
All right, guys, it's time to move into our closing segment. As always, I'd like to turn it over to Marvin. Marvin, if you would, tell us what's going on with you, 40 Plus Strong, how folks can get their hands on it, and then we'll go around the room.
Yeah, man, I'm still out here, man, still recovering from my knee replacement surgery, whereas the knee is 100%, I had to, get my body back to where it was, because not being able to work out for that long of a period of time, it took a toll on me. But, we're almost back there, so, anybody, your late 30s, 40s, 50s, you're looking for a tool that's going to help you, to get back to feeling youthful and get your body back in shape. Or what they say now, unbig your back. You can grab a copy of my book, 3 different workout programs, one for beginners, one for intermediate, and one for people who've been doing it for a while. I talk nutrition, I talk lifestyle, everything you need to get yourself to a place to where, you're back healthy and living, the way you want to live. You can follow me on Instagram, Constant45. There's a link to Amazon on my IG where you can go purchase the book, best $15 you ever spent.
Sounds great.
Hey, what happened to your knee? Did you meet Bo in the middle?
You can't take that, man.
Unfortunately, I got hurt in Alabama, and our team doctor was Dr. Seuss. So, he shouldn't have been allowed to cut paper, let alone people. I was one of his unfortunate victims, and I'm pretty sure y'all already know the doctor name. So,
yeah.
Stephen N. Smith, what you got on the docket, and how can fans find you on social media?
Tomorrow, we still got, tomorrow in my own words, we still looking at just positional battles, man, heading into the summer. We got a lot of these guys that did not enroll in spring. They'll be here in the summer. Richard Young will be here in the summer. A lot of other players that are part of this 2023 class will be here in the summer. And we've seen a lot of these guys that come in the summer, they turn heads. We saw Jalen Waddle do it in 2018. We saw Minka Fitzpatrick do it in 2015, if I'm not mistaken. So which one of these summer guys comes in here and means business? That's going to be a big conversation right there.
Yeah, most definitely. Bo, turn it over to you now, man. You got a lot going on. Start off by telling the folks about your show tomorrow night, the Developmental Focus Points. Yeah. Go on from there.
Tomorrow night, man, 7:30, Developmental Focus Point with me, Trent, Blake Sim, and Kristen Jones. And yeah, man, you can catch me on Cameo. Also, we 2-1 with the USFL. Next game is we play against Ruben them up in Ohio, Canton, Ohio, this Saturday. You can watch that game live, and that's about it. That's all I got, Justin.
All right, sounds good. His show tomorrow night, folks in the audience, at 7:30 p.m. Central, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Show up and show out, and folks in the audience, hit that like and subscribe button. Show us some love.
Hey, Bo, one thing real quick, Bo. Are you still in the USFL?
Yeah.
So Marvin, I need you to get Bo's number, and I'm gonna give you a buzz, man. We're gonna chop it up.
For sure.
All right.
Well, Kurt, since you're the first to talk, I'll turn it over to you. Tell folks how they can find you, what you got going on next, and all that good stuff, brother.
Well, I'm here in Atlanta, man. I own a small transportation company. I do expedited freight. You can find me on Facebook. I'm not on all of the other social media platforms, but I am on Facebook.
Okay. So no Cameo for you or TikTok doing dances or anything like that?
Don't nobody want to see you doing a percolator, man. Come on.
No.
Marvin, that was Kaylee.
Yeah, you couldn't dance like Kaylee?
Exactly. No. Nobody can dance like Kaylee.
I know, right?
Nobody. Yeah.
All right, Tata, that leaves you, man. Tell folks how they can find you and what you got going on next, all that good stuff.
Well, you can find me at tmalone80 on IG, as well as Twitter. Just living life right now. I'm 20 years at my school. Got a son coming up. My daughter, I thought maybe she was going to go to Alabama. Me and her mom are Alabama graduates, and she decided to take her talents to UAB. And so I was kind of disappointed with that. But my son told me, don't worry about it. He will be playing at Alabama baseball and football.
I like
it. So he's 12 right now. He's about 5'11", 135 pounds, playing wide receiver and defensive end. And he's a big-time baseball player right now. He's hitting baseballs over 300 foot right now. So also got a little business going on. You can go to T Grilling. We ship meat all over the country. I'm one of the best in the business. So T Grilling, you can find me.
Now, Todrick. Now, I'll say this. At least she chose UAB and not the other area.
Oh my gosh.
At least she chose UAB. Like you can deal with UAB. You can deal
with
that.
Right. And I told her, I was like, I can't go over there. She had that on her list. And I was like, I'm barred from over there. I can't go. That would do something to me.
Your son got your speed, Todrick?
Oh, he's faster.
Oh,
he'll be faster. He can roll.
Speaking of that, Curtis, how's your son doing? I know that he's been trying to make it in the pro level. Last time we talked, I think several months ago. A quick update on him, man. What's going on?
Yeah, he's over in Las Vegas. He plays for the Las Vegas Nighthawks over in the IFL, Indoor Football League. And he's doing good. He missed the first 3 games with a hamstring injury, but came back 4th game, scored 2. And then last week he scored 1. So he's doing good.
That's what's up. Glad to hear it. Man, You guys are legends. We couldn't thank you enough for jumping on tonight. We're glad we could have both you guys here at the same time. We greatly appreciate
trouble, baby.
Yes, sir. The
founders of Curtis Brown and Long Gone Malone in the house.
Long Gone Malone.
Hey, that's NIL money y'all could have had.
Absolutely.
Marketing those T-shirts, man.
Right.
Marvin, good seeing you, man.
Good seeing you as well, brother.
Good
Thank
seeing you, Steven. Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Got it.
That'll do it for all of us. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.